Oh, that's the wrong one.
Okay, it is 6.
No, hold on. Not quite yet.
Okay.
Now you're set.
Okay, so this is the February meeting of Human Rights. Do we need to wait a few minutes for everybody else to get here? I know Rebecca won't be coming. Mitch is going to be joining us in his car. And I'm not sure where Lisa is. I'm assuming she's coming too. So I don't know if you want to wait for a few minutes.
You've got 5 on. I've got Mitchell, Liza, Suzanne, Phyllis, and yourself.
Oh, okay. I guess I don't see everybody's picture. So, okay. Hang on 1 second. So can you mute your phone? Can you mute yours? Okay, we have 2 computers going on and I kept hearing my voice off the other computer, so wanted to make sure we're all set. So the first order of business is we want to approve the minutes from the last meeting, and I'm not even sure if we even have any from the last meeting, do we?
Well, there wasn't, it's my recollection that there wasn't a quorum at the last meeting.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Okay. Okay, so I guess we can just forget about that one then. The other, now that we have new people on our committee here, I think we need to have a discussion as to whether or not we want to have, we only really have one officer right now, and that's me as the chairperson. And I am willing to give that up if anybody else wants to join, wants to take over doing that. Because obviously it's not a whole lot to do on this committee. So I know some of you have a little bit more interest in getting involved with things. And one of the things we're going to get involved with, which is the next thing on there, is that they're trying to put together a statewide a forum for people who have human rights and human relations around various towns, that they're asking for the chairperson to be involved in these meetings, which are going to be starting in March. I think it wasn't last year because obviously last 2020 is a wash, but I think in 19 we had a woman who came and talked to our meeting, that she was involved with it down in the Fairfield area. Remember, she was talking about having a coalition of different human rights commission people on them. You got those of you who are on the commission. Excuse me?
I think it was fall of 19 she spoke.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're still trying to move forward with having that be a possibility for things. Obviously, it'll all be Zoom meeting because that's where we are at this point. So I don't know if anybody is interested in taking over the chairperson of this committee. Personally, I'm kind of feeling like, we've had so many people appointed and not appointed, and I'm still, after 5 years, still a de facto member. And that no party has appointed me. I was appointed a Democrat, then I was working as a Republican. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I don't think it matters what party, but I'm still a de facto member of this, and I haven't been appointed by a political party in town. So part of me feels like, so if anybody who actually has been appointed by a political party wants to take over the chairperson, that's fine with me. So that's open for discussion. I mean, I'm perfectly willing to.
Just to clarify, and James can jump in, but I did discuss with him, there are 3 de facto members. It's you, Barbara Wiley, and Terry DiPolito. And the de facto members carry the same rights and privileges of any other member. They can hold office, they can vote, and they would stay with those powers until they either got renewed by the town council or their period expired and they got replaced, or they resigned. So it's not like you have any less power.
No, if people want to resign, they have to put their it in writing in order to resign. So you have people who haven't attended meetings in quite a few years, but who never quite put it in writing. that they wanted to resign, so.
So to that point, if the commission feels that you've got membership who hasn't been attending properly, hasn't shown up, hasn't contacted, we can put that forward to the council to have that individual removed and get a new appointment on there. So that's an option as well.
Okay,
So
that's really not my concern right now at this particular moment. It's more like people have been appointed and I'm just still kind of hanging here de facto. So if people who are more active with the political wheels of the town of Newington, if they would like to, have a chairperson to this committee, that's fine. You know what I mean? I don't want to,
Right.
We never really have elections because we've never really had people who wanted to assume that particular role, so I don't know if the new members want to do that or not.
Okay.
Or how other people are feeling about it, I don't know.
is Liza on board, on active now?
I only see 5 people here, so I don't know who else is here or not.
I am here. I've
Okay.
been here.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any interest on Liza or Roberta's part in taking on a official role.
I would be happy to take it on, but only if Jane does not want it, because I do, as a de facto member, Jane still has the same rights that everyone else has. So it's up to Jane, but I would be happy to take it over if she does not want to do it.
I personally would like to just not be involved with the leadership of this anymore. And Lisa, I know that only because I know you are really excited about moving forward with this. And I don't know if the statewide forum that they're talking about is something that we can get more involved with, and whether that'd be something that you'd be more excited about than I am at this point. I'm newly retired, so I really am willing to just go ahead and pass that along at this point.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I would be happy to do it if that's what the committee wants. I don't know, like, how, does this committee vote? Like, what's the process for selecting the chair and the officers?
So we'd have to make a motion to have you serve as chair and then vote.
Okay. I would make a motion for Lisa to be chairperson of this committee.
I second it.
Carol, I don't think you get to second the motion. You're not
No,
a
you
fit
don't,
and
Carol.
can't vote.
I second it.
Thank you, Janelle.
Oh, Janelle, you made it.
Oh, you haven't been seeing my lovely face?
I have not been seeing your lovely face, no.
Hmm.
So is there anybody who would object to Liza taking over the chairperson? So I guess that means that you would now be our new chairperson. Yay! Congratulations. So James, is that official enough, or is there something else we need to do with that?
No, that's fine. Nomination, accepting first, second. You guys are good.
Okay. So let me read to you this email that I got.
Before you move on to that, Jane, did you want to address secretary as well?
Oh, sure. We presently do not have any other officers. So is there anybody who would like to serve as the secretary to have more accurate minutes being taken and recorded on a regular basis than we have now?
Do you think that would be helpful to the facilitation of activities by this commission?
Well, I've been kind of doing it all, so that's why it's like I'm
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Because we really haven't had forums enough to do anything other than just write an agenda out each week. Each month we have this meeting. So that's kind of where it was at this point.
But would it be helpful, Jane, since Liza's just taking on this new role, that you do the secretary for a little bit to help give her some guidance, unless you're in full retirement mode?
I am always in full retirement mode now until golf season starts, but yes, that will be fine. We can write something up and I can send it to everybody after the minutes and after the meeting, and then we can have it put on record somewhere. I'm not sure where. Carol, is that something I would just send it to you and you would post it somewhere, or have it a record
Exactly.
somewhere?
I'm supposed to receive it within 7 days of the meeting
All right, so
when there's a quorum, and there's a quorum tonight.
Who's the other one we're missing? Who's the only one we're missing tonight? Is Barbara and Rebecca? Roberta?
Barbara, Roberta, and Terry, but we still have 5 out of the 9.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's Terry DiPolito, right?
Yeah, and Terry will be resigning, so then we
Okay.
can get a new position in.
Okay.
We actually have
So would
six
it
on
be-
right now. Jane, the bottom of your window, click on the participants. You'll be able to see everybody who's in.
Oh, wait. Oh, there we are.
There you go.
Okay. Gotcha. All those in favor of that happening, or actually, I guess need to be nominated. So Jamela, was that a nomination for me to continue working?
That was a nomination.
I'll second.
Okay, so, all right, I will perform that duty for a little while longer then to help out Liza to go ahead and move this in a more different direction. Okay, so I know you guys worked on that survey stuff too, and so that'll kind of give you a little bit of a role for you. Okay? We good with that now?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me read to you. This. I got this email from this gentleman named Jay Tulin, Tulin. It says, I am the chair of the Farmington Human Relations Commission. I am working with the Hamden Commission regarding coordinating a statewide forum of human relations or human rights commissions. The intent would be to get all interested chairs together via Zoom to discuss each of our commissions, interest, etc., in order to prospectively form some kind of a consensus among all of our commissions. I am writing to inquire whether Newington still has a commission or what the status of your commission might be. If there is still an active commission, we would obviously like to invite the chair of the commission to participate in this forum that is tentatively planned for the spring. So I sent him a email stating that Newington still had a commission and that we are always interested in expanding what our role could possibly be in town and connecting with other towns. I got an email from him yesterday. Yeah, it must have been yesterday because today's Tuesday, stating that there is going to be a meeting and it is going to be sometime in March. And that is as far as I have any information about it. So it sounds like it's moving forward. Whoever he sent this email to initially, I don't know who we sent it to, but 8 people did respond that they want to be part of this statewide coalition or forum kind of a thing. So that's where that is at this point. So I'm assuming before we go any farther, I'd like to take a vote to find out whether or not this is something that our commission would like to be involved in. Does anybody have any opinions on it, or?
So can you give a little bit more clarity? What would it entail?
Absolutely no idea. That email was the only email that I got. It sounds like they're trying to coordinate different commissions. I think it sounds like there's a lot of commissions who feel the same like we do, that we don't know what to do. We're not, we kind of work by if somebody wants some help, they come looking for us. It sounds like a lot of commissions don't actually go into the community and do a lot of that stuff. You kind of waiting for people to come with you with a human rights issue. And so I think they're trying to expand what human rights means in the state of Connecticut. That's the impression I got from it. I could be totally wrong, but the only information I have is that. I figured if we went one time, we'd get more information. And but in the meantime, I thought it would be important. I wanted to answer him right away. And I think it's something that something that the whole commission wants to do, then obviously at this point, Lisa, you would be the front runner, and I'd send him your email and coordinate that with you and put you on the list to go and attend it. If that's something that we want to move forward with as a commission, to be involved with this.
It seems like we have nothing to lose to at least, go to the first thing and hear what he has to say and see what people's thoughts are.
That was what my thought was. And at that point, we'd have more information from it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I certainly agree. I think it's worth hearing what they're all talking about, even if we don't ultimately participate in a full statewide event. Just to connect with these other human rights commissions in other towns could be really beneficial to our work.
Okay, because it's really weird. I thought they were the towns around here, and of all the emails that were responded, 8 people responded, only 1 person put their town on there. I know I didn't. It was just my personal email address, and one of them's Guilford. So it's like looks like it's going to be a wide range of people there. So okay,
Sounds good.
all right. So we'll move forward with that then. What's the next thing? Is the next thing any issues? Discussion on activity. So Lisa and Phyllis and Sue, this would be yours because of your the survey that you put out, where we want to go with that.
Yeah, did everyone, because I just sent it today and I really do apologize for that because we actually started this back in November and then life. But did everyone receive the draft survey that I sent this afternoon?
Yes,
Did folks receive it? So we talked last meeting about potentially doing a survey. So Phyllis, Sue, and myself set some time up, and I had done just a little research on other human rights commissions, not from within Connecticut. I didn't find anything from within Connecticut, but I found, I think I found one from Chelsea, Massachusetts. I'm just trying to look back. There was one all the way up in Ontario, one in Idaho, one in West Virginia, local human rights commissions who had done townwide surveys about not only the climate of the town, but what could the Human Rights Commission work on to help with the climate of the town. So I kind of compiled, we sat and looked at those surveys and then compiled a draft of what we could do here in Newington. So that's what I sent out.
And who are we talking about was going to be the recipient of the survey? I can't remember what our conversation went last.
Yeah, I think, obviously, I think, we'll all have to have realistic expectations about how many surveys will probably get completed. But I think we were talking about, somehow doing it electronically, and I was really looking to Carol and James to explain what the options were for an electronic survey that would be housed on the Human Services Department page. We could do a press release. I know, Carol, you said you've had, connections with local reporters who might be willing to do a story on it in Newington Life or whatever. And then maybe, I could develop a flyer that we can maybe put up at a couple places, put up in town hall, put up in the senior center. If there's anywhere else we can think of to, put up in town with, the link of where they could go to complete the survey. And then the question was, do we see if we can get an article in Newington Life, or do we use some of our budgeted, we have a very, small budget. Do we use some of that money to perhaps take an ad out in Newington Life or the Rare Reminder, whatever we think might be useful to let folks know that there is this survey and there is this possibility to give input into not only the climate of Newington, but what this commission could do activity-wise.
I think we would definitely get coverage. I don't know that, I really don't see that we would have to pay for that.
So that was the plan, Jane. I don't know that we're, I don't think we're going to do a mailing. I don't know that that would be a large budgeted item. So really it was to get it up online. I can certainly ask the gentleman who runs Newington News, I think, on Facebook. There's a couple of them.
Yeah, we can get it out through Facebook. We can get it out in the newspaper. We can get it out on the website. I have a website training meeting tomorrow. I will ask the protocols on how to put the questionnaire up and, just the logistical process.
And then, so Carol, if you're doing that, perhaps we can find out whether or not it's part of the website, that whether or not human rights could have a separate part of that, so that if people filled out the survey, it would automatically go back into that part of the human services website. You know what I mean? So that it.
Yeah, we'll look at that.
Yeah, Carol, we could have, a page on the Human Services Department page You know, other than you, because I was going to ask you before if you could send the most up-to-date list of the members and who the appointments are from. But I'd be happy to draft up some content based on what the town bylaws say our commission does.
Yeah, and I think that and that's fine. I think that our goal last fall or prior to COVID was to do an updated on that, and we were looking at a couple of members working on that. So I'm not sure if that's still out there happening or not.
That I'm not completely sure of, but I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, so Carol, you'll get back to us in terms of how that would work for us after you have your meeting tomorrow or whenever, sometime this week?
I can get back to you, or I can report at the next meeting. Yeah, I mean, if we think we need to call a special meeting, if you want to move this forward more quickly, let me know.
Well, the next meeting in May, is it Phyllis and Lisa and Sue? Is that something that we can table till next May after she can have the information?
You can review the content today so that it's all set to go.
Yeah, I think if we review the content of the survey today, but I think Carol, if you could email a synopsis of how it would work to the committee, so we could read up on it and understand it before the next meeting, and then we could vote on however we're going to move forward at the next meeting.
Sure.
Okay.
So, so the content, do you want me to just, do folks want me to kind of go through the survey? That'd be helpful. I don't know if people have it open in front of them.
I know I got it today, but I didn't get a chance to read it.
Okay. So again, it's meant to be a brief survey. It's not meant to be long. You know, we don't want people to have to spend a half hour filling out the survey. This should really only take, you know, maybe 10 minutes for folks to fill out. But Phyllis had written, you know, kind of a brief statement at the beginning, kind of explaining why we were asking this. And then we jump into, you know, what does it mean to you? How would you define what it means to be an inclusive town? We asked folks for their top 5 choices. And we can get to, Mitch had made a suggestion about picking your top 5, but then ranking them. So this, you know, offers a number of options: welcoming diversity, supporting fairness and access to opportunities, supporting social justice. So there's a variety of things folks can select there. Then we ask, is Newington an inclusive town? And we use a typical kind of 5-point scale on that, from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Then the next question is, have you ever experienced discrimination in Newington? And then, you know, lists out some ways that people might have been discriminated against. Areas in which Newington needs to improve to become a more inclusive town, and that would be an open-ended question. The next question is, which of the following human rights and social justice priorities do you think should be the focus of the Human Rights Commission? And we asked for them to select 3 choices there. Next question is, would you be willing to work with the HRC on any of the specific topics? We do ask for an age range just to kind of get a little, you know, kind of sense of who's answering. And then the final question is optional if they did select that they want to work with the Human Rights Commission to offer their contact information, but otherwise, if they don't, the survey is anonymous. And we could even think about, I was thinking when I was looking at it, maybe at the end there, to make folks completely comfortable and confident that their answers are confidential, we could not even include this as an answer directly on the survey. But if, you know, put a statement there, if you are interested, please email. And, you know, I don't know if we could set up, Carol, a Newington, you know, .gov email for the Human Rights Commission where they could email their contact information, and maybe you could forward that to me and I could get in touch with them. And that's really it. That's the survey.
Yeah, the only thing I think we have to make that clear as to what we're looking for, because certainly as many folks as want to can attend our meetings. They're public meetings, but there's the limit of 9 as far as serving as members. So we just want to make it clear that we're not.
It would be as a volunteer, not as a member.
Exactly.
Yeah, gotcha.
And once you receive the result of the survey, what will it be used for? Are you going to find a way to share it with Newington, with the people in Newington, or will you then move forward with doing something to make a change? What would be the purpose of it? And I wonder if people would need to know that up front, what is this information going to be used for?
I definitely view it as something to help guide the work of this commission. We've kind of all talked for the last couple of years that I've been on anyway. What should we do? Are there activities we should be working on? But not really sure what activities. I think we, probably all have personal opinions on some activities that we could work on as a commission, but what does the town think? So I think that's definitely what I envision using the information for, and then perhaps it informs the activities of the commission that then ultimately make a change in town, assuming that we potentially hear that some folks have not had great experiences in this town.
Like I would envision us also having a, after the survey results, not only discussing it with the commission, but then also doing a follow-up article with the papers and saying,
Yep.
okay, we had this survey. These are the issues that, community members have raised. These are things they think we can do, and that might prompt even more people to, bring up issues or want to get involved.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that was the other thing. It was definitely also a good way to let folks know that the Human Rights Commission is here. Cause there's a solid chance that a lot of folks in town don't know that we are here.
Right.
And it's
So I'm wondering in the introduction to the survey, I think it would be important to note the purpose of it and what the plans would be. I think you would ignite more people to be responsive, because if you just get the survey, you want to know this information. It's like, what for? What action will be taken as a result?
Well, it does. If you look at the introduction before the question starts, the last line is that we would like to know how our citizens think we are doing as a community and how we can improve. So, because we don't know until we get answers what any of that means.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like how would perhaps how that line could be a little bit more clear to that.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can expand it. We can definitely work on something.
Yeah.
Expand it a little bit.
So at this point, you're looking for suggestions for after we read it all to give you suggestions as to what we think would improve it or change it a little bit.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful if folks could take some time in the next couple of weeks to read it over and send any edits over. It's helpful if folks can use track changes on Word, so that I can see kind of where their edits are. And then I could put a revised draft back out to the committee in a much more timely fashion before the next meeting.
What kind of form will you be using to organize it on, in terms of the survey? So when people get it, do you have an idea?
That's really a question for Carol and or James, because we were envisioning it being electronic and house the link to it on the Human Services Department website. So I don't know if it's a Survey Monkey or if they have some other tool to their disposal here in town.
Yeah, as far as I know, there's no tool for the town. It would be a link to whatever Survey Monkey or whatever tool you folk, the commission decided to use. Yeah. I mean, Survey Monkey certainly does do pooling of answers and so forth. So that might be a possibility.
Yeah,
And
I'm
also, I
familiar
think
with Survey Monkey. I use it for work, so.
Yeah, Survey Monkey is probably the easiest thing to use, but I also think it'd be interesting that if we're doing this, the answers would be to bring to the state forum what some specific issues that people in Newington feel that we, that are issues in our town,
Yeah.
So. Camilla, did that make all sense for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone have anything else they want to add to that?
I'm sorry I'm late. I appreciate everybody doing all this work. Thank
You
you.
can unmute yourself, Sue, and talk anytime you want.
Yeah, and Mitch, if we do use SurveyMonkey, then we can, I know we can set the questions up to both be select 5 and then rank them, so.
All right, cool. Yeah, I just thought, I didn't know if that would give us better data.
Okay. Anyone have anything else they want to bring up about this? Are we on to new business yet there, James? I can't remember, I forget what the next thing on the agenda is. Oh, Human Services Report, okay. So Carol, that would be you.
So, yeah, sorry, just unmuting myself. We are continuing to offer services both through the food bank, which has been, we saw an increase right after COVID, and that increase has remained stable. And we are seeing a even bigger increase in casework services, so assisting folks with applying for unemployment benefits, filing for eviction moratorium forms through the federal government, applying, tracking their incentive checks, a lot of work around trying to negotiate with landlords and keep them open to working with our clients. So a whole lot of increased financial need and work around those issues. We are continuing to offer youth services, have some in-person programs starting in the spring. We have Wednesday programs when the schools are, that's in between, all students are home. And then we have Saturday programs, which include parents. So some kayaking, some adventure programs where groups can stay in their cohort and socially distance.
Cool. Is there any other financial needs that the Human Services have at this point? Like the food bank is up and running. I mean, is there enough food and stuff in there for you guys?
We're in good shape. Newington is responding incredibly well. When we've gone to a couple of regional meetings, sometimes they're really feeling the crunch, and we get donations in from people in the community, businesses in the community, organizations doing food drives, and Food Share has done going on a year of free, waiving our user fees. So basically we're getting free food from Food Share through all of the donations that they're receiving. So the food need is definitely being met.
Okay.
That's good.
That's wonderful.
Because somebody had asked me whether or not Human Services needed monetary donations to help out with clients, or is that still something that you guys are in need of? Or is that you guys are pretty well set with all the?
Monetary donations are always helpful. They allow us to do specific food needs as opposed to just generalized donations. And they allow us to assist with some of these rent situations, which are a bigger need than is typical. Historically, we would help kind of as a bridge to a solution, and somewhere in the $500 to $600 range. Obviously, that's not going to even begin to put a dent in some folks' situations now where they haven't had income, or they've had very spotty income because of unemployment starting and stopping and starting and stopping. So they've got months and months due of back rent. So we're trying to make a dent in that. So certainly financial donations help us to meet that need.
Okay. Anyone have any other questions for Carol? Okay, so were we into other business yet, James? The next thing? There we go. So this is the other business for you all. Because this is the other cap I've been using in the town of Newington here. And that is I am part of the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. And so I know because you guys have your outside interests that you have here with different religious affiliations, the Boy Scouts, Prudence Crandall, True Colors, et cetera, and Phyllis Ballin knows what you're involved in, because I know you're involved with all kinds of stuff. That this is Newington was given part of this grant money to use for the town of Newington. So if you know of any tax-free or tax, charity organizations that are looking for some money to set up a program in Newington to service all of Newington, I'm going to give you guys a website so you can log on to for more information if that's something that you're interested in being involved in. And again, churches and religious organizations can use the money from this foundation. They just got to be able to use it. It can't just be used for your own congregation. It has to be used for the town of Newington. So the website that we have is for you to get any other information you might be interested in, because there's now starting to accept grants to try to put some of this money back into the town of Newington. Carol, I know somebody from the commission or from this committee already talked to Human Services about the foundation, correct? And I think that somebody also talked to people at the senior center and people at the library as well. So there are things that are there, but the website I have for you is specific to Newington, and it gives you more information about what the requirements are and the process to, if you're interested in submitting a grant proposal for different activities that you might think Newington can benefit from. Because obviously it's wide open as to what the foundation gives money for to try to jumpstart some of the programs in different towns. So this just happens to be the one for Newington. Okay, because Carol, I know you unmuted yourself now. Somebody came to talk to you about it, right? Was it Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Diane, Lisa, and I met with him and Ryan. I can't remember his last name, but yes. And while the town we can act as kind of a conduit. So
Right.
if there's projects that need to be done and there's not a nonprofit organization that would take that in as their mission, then that's something we can be of assistance with as well. So for example, if a need got identified as a result of this survey that we're doing and we wanted to take an action, that would be a possibility that could be considered.
Right. So anyway, so the website is HFPG, the Hartford Foundation of Public Giving, .org, and then you backslash it for Newington, Connecticut. I'll put that in the minutes too. That's a website that has all the information available. If that's something that you're interested in and want more information as to how that would work. I just wanted to kind of throw it out there for you, because I know that this commission has quite a few people who are involved in different organizations outside of this particular part of our life here. So if that's something you're interested, you can also contact me if you want more information about it as well. Okay, but because they're just accepting the proposals now, so it's out there. Okay.
Great.
Anybody have any questions for me about that? Okay. I guess anybody want to anyone would like to propose that the meeting is adjourned?
I'll propose.
Okay, so it is now 6:40, so the meeting's adjourned. So Lisa, you'll be in charge of the next one. And I will be in contact with all that information as well as the information about that statewide forum for you. Okay? All right. Sounds good. Everybody stay safe in the snowstorm on Thursday.
Thank you.
All,
Everyone,
Nice to
guys.
see everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.